outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to iRacing Night here on Fans Choice TV, iRacing Live, and all of our affiliates. We're getting ready to do some short track racing here this evening from the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's 150 laps in the Nascar iRacing Class B Open Series. Tony, this is week number 22 of 33 for this series. We've seen this play out in the spring. We're getting ready for some more short track racing action, though.
Yes, we are, Tim, and it is at the world's fastest half mile, the last great coliseum known as the Bristol Motor Speedway. And this place, Tim, as we've all seen throughout the years, yields itself to its very own blend and brand of excitement. Ever since the repave and the reconfiguration, things have changed. It's no longer a bottom feeder racetrack. It's all about being a top feeder, but it's still just as one lane as it always has been, and that means short tempers. We'll have a lot of short actions because guys won't think very far ahead, and a lot of shorter cars by the time everything is said and done tonight.
Let's go down our starting grid here this evening. We don't have a whole lot of time, so we'll try to get through as many as we can right now. On the pole, NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series driver Tyler Laughlin, 1544 to his outside Keegan Leahy. In the number 9 car this evening, Ryan Lowe will start the number 1 from position number 3. Ethan Lane, Joey Israelson, your top 5.
The next 5 on the grid include the 11 of Trent Ringler, the 17 of Zach Novak. Tom Moustakis will drive the 7 from position number 8. Jeremy Davis is in the 20 on the inside of row 5, and Michael Van Osdal is on the outside of row number 5.
They got Todd Guerin, one of the short track guys, starting the number 22 in position number 11. Casey Kerwin, Brandon Hoff, Joseph Gulata, and Adam Burley, your top 15.
Next 5 include the 16 of Jake Hayes, starting 16th. Then the 24 car, Michael Gariglia in the 17th spot. Jacob Harberts, Matthew Davis, and Alan Bowes, the winner just 2 weeks ago at Watkins Glen. He will round out the top 20.
Field is rolling for their 2 pace laps. The remainder of the field, it's Jordan Worth, Blake Bryant, Dylan Jones, Justin Fuller, Devin Janikowski, Nick Furler, and Raul Alves completing your field. And Tony, the last time we saw a Justin Fuller race, it's at Talladega. You remember that race?
Can't say I do, Tim. They all blend together after a while. Certainly just as exciting, but if memory serves me, that thing went really crazy.
Yeah, it was really crazy at the end, and with Fuller starting at the rear of the field, this is a short track. Going to see some bumpers exchange, going to see some tempers flare. I don't think Fuller is going to be content with where he is right now. It's 150 laps. Watch him to move to the front of the field. One of those Aftermath Motorsports drivers with Adam Gilliland calling the shots here this evening. He's also calling the shots for Teloff in driver number 6 as we get ready to go racing here this evening at the Bristol Motor Speedway, a part of week 22 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Class B Open Series, the Xfinity style race cars. Getting ready to see the green flag, this time by pace car, going to head to pit road, and Tyler Laughlin going to be in control of the field. There he goes, green flag flies, and we're underway for the first of 150.
Look at that, off into turn number 1. See them all scatter out, Tim, and just as we expected, everyone trying to make their way to the top of the racetrack here at Bristol. Reason being, there's a little bit more grip up there, especially after the grinding job they did a couple of years ago, and you carry a lot more momentum at the very high end of the racetrack. Everybody will tell you the fast way around here is literally just inches off the wall. It's exactly what we're seeing now. When you've got sticker tires, however, it's a little easier to make some headway. Drivers like Zach Novak trying to do just that back in the 6th and 7th spot at the moment. And look at him, trying to work the middle and the bottom of the racetrack, and while you've got grip, Tim, it's very easy to do, but as this run continues to wear on, that will not be nearly as easy.
Watching some B and C class racing action a little bit earlier this week, Tony, the one thing that I did catch up on is that if you were on the inside line, 17 up in the fence, Zach Novak has everybody past the inside, and that was a close call for a lot of the field Novak, oh, 3 car is sideways. He's going to try to save it. And what a save made by car number 3. And somehow through all of this, Tony, we're going to stay green. The point I was about to make, though, when you're on that inside line, it's almost like a dirt track. You want to get your run into the corner and try to slide up and do that slide job. Just make sure that the other driver isn't there when you complete that slide job, or you're ending up in the fence.
That is exactly what can happen, Tim, but while that is also a possibility, you want to make sure the guy is clear of your outside. You don't put both yourselves in the fence. You also want to make sure when you do it, you don't kill your momentum in the center of the corner. Reason being, that driver that drove it in on the outside, he's already going to beat you back to the throttle. So you've got to make sure you not only have track position, but you have enough momentum to be able to pull him through the corner and down the straightaway to where he cannot replicate that exact same move on you, either on corner exit or getting into the next corner. So this racetrack has become certainly a very technical racetrack over the last few years. And while there's still a lot of bump and run, a lot of grinding, a lot of bumper tag, it's just as important to make sure you can execute a pass perfectly as it has been anywhere else, and especially here at Bristol over the numerous decades this place has been in existence.
Ryan Lowe has moved to position number 2. The 9 car up in the fence. Keegan Lane, he's going to fall 2 spots here and fall back to position number 5. Ethan Lane and Israelson make the move on Keegan Leahy, but up in front, Ryan Lowe continues to pour the pressure on car number 6 of Tyler Laughlin. And Tony, if memory serves me correctly, Ryan Lowe was in this race back in the spring and had an issue early in the race, did not or could not really show his hand in that event. I think he's going to have something here for T-Loff, but I know those Aftermath Motorsports guys have been working hard on the setup.
I agree, Tim. If memory serves me as well, Ryan Lowe ran top 5, really top 3 most of the race. Got involved in a late race altercation, or really a mid-race altercation. Had to attempt to slice his way through the field, couldn't do it. Too much traffic, too little time, and got crossed up with a few other incidents before everything was said and done, but he was able to survive for a top 10 finish once the checker flag did come out. And Tim, look just how close these guys are. You're riding on board with Ryan Lowe on the roof of that number 1 machine, and his Camaro right up against the outside wall, but not nearly as close as Tyler Laughlin in the number 6. Laughlin using every single inch of concrete, now below the number 1 of Lowe. Here comes Ethan Lane trying to make a lane off turn 2. Just about lost the handle, but caution is out. Problems over in turns 1 and 2, and well, not very pretty for a couple of guys.
No, Justin Fuller's involved in it, and it's going to be him in the 23, bringing out the caution flag. Fuller gets loose at a corner number 4, and they run down the straightaway. Tony, the 23 goes up high as Fuller tries to collect it. They make contact. The 19 goes head on into the fence. 17 involved. The 25, the 3, also a part of this mess. But it all starts off with the 19 car just getting a little bit sideways off corner number 4, and that's all it takes.
And Tim, a couple other drivers who swept up in the aftermath. The 17 is Zach Novak, who had issues earlier. Same with the 3 of Jordan Worth, simply trying to get slowed down or avoid the catastrophe, and they got caught up in the calamity themselves. Although minimal, if any damage to those cars, they will be able to continue. But first caution is out here with about 15 laps complete. And just that quick, Tim, the laps have clicked off here at Bristol.
So the 6 car of Tyler Laughlin going to lead Ryan Lowe, Ethan Lane, Joey Israelson, and Keegan Leahy, your top 5. Trent Ringler sits there in position number 6, and Tony, this could be a big week for Trent Ringler. When you look at the point standings, Ringler currently leads, and he leads by 300 points. There are some drop races within this series, but when you look at it, Ringler's got a pretty big advantage right now, and he's trying to wrap up this season. Keep in mind, it's a 33-week season. It's not like we have in our regular iRacing seasons where it's a 12-week season or a 10-week season. It's 33 weeks with some drop races included in there. It's a long season. So if Trent Ringler can wrap this up, Vanderstal's in here too. He's about mid-pack right now. But if the 11 car can come closer to getting that championship, that's a huge feather in the cap for that team.
Oh, it really is, Tim. Like you said, this is a long points chase. 3 times as long as any championship on the iRacing service, but that's what makes it one of the most premier and one of the most coveted titles on the entire service. I mean, after all, aside from the NASCAR Peak Antifree Series, this is the next step you want to get to winning one of these NASCAR Xfinity Class B Series titles. And there's a lot of stout competition here, no doubt. But yes, 30 some odd weeks, despite the drop weeks and everything else, it's still is a marathon, and to keep your nose clean for that long is an accomplishment. Considering, Tim, you're not really racing 40 guys or 30 guys or 50 guys for a championship. You're literally racing hundreds, if not thousands, of competitors who have put their hat in the ring for this championship. So to have that kind of lead after it's all said and done, that is something special.
If you want to get involved in iRacing, and a perfect short track vehicle to get involved in iRacing is the late model stock. If you head over to iRacing.com, if you're a new member, you're going to see this promo pop up at the bottom of the screen. You're going to write that down, take it over to iRacing, fill it in the promo block, and you're going to get 3 months for the price of one, and you're also going to get the late model stock. Great race car to go racing with. If you're new to the iRacing service, head over there and do that, because that is an awesome vehicle. You get the Bristol Motor Speedway while you're at it and come do some short track racing here as the lights are off atop the pace car. Tony, we're getting ready to go back to green.
Getting ready to go back under the green flag, Tim, and watch how this restart pans out. Tyler Laughlin is stuck on the inside. It's imperative he gets the jump on the number 1 Ryan Lowe, or else we may see a lead change here on this restart.
We'll see what transpires here. T-Loff and Ryan Lowe on the front row. Here comes the 6. Green flag flies, and we are underway once again. 19 laps completed. Top 4 get single file. Everybody behind, trying to fight for a position, including position number 5.
They are 2 and 3 wide. Problems, trouble. The 7 car hard on the inside wall. That's Tom Moustakis. Blake Bryant in it as well, and miraculously those cars bounced off the wall, stayed on the apron, and we are still green, although they're still trying to crash from about 7th on back. That's where Todd Garrett, Joseph Galata, the 5 of Jacob Harberts, they're all locked in a tussle as they work off turn 4 to complete lap number 21, and hello, big trouble front straightaway. 6, 7, 8 cars involved, and it all started with Ethan Lane in the 3rd spot, Tim.
Remember what I said a little bit earlier, Tony, when you talk about the slide job, trying to find a spot into that high side? The 4 and the 18 have a little bit of a tussle off corner number 4. The 4 car is there on the outside, and I don't know if it's the 4 coming down a little bit, Tony, or the 18 trying to find a spot in the line. Regardless what it is, the 18 gets turned by the 4, or turned off the bumper of the 4. The 5 is involved, the 2. There's a lot of good cars here that are going to be damaged because of this thing. The 5 is Jacob Harberts. He was looking forward to this race. The 2 is Alan Bose. He's always a contender when we talk about this B Open division. He's probably not going to win this race tonight. And with that happening in position number 3, Tony, there's a lot of bent-up race cars from 3rd on back.
And Tim, we talked about at the outset how this racetrack over the last few years has evolved from a bottom feeder racetrack where you absolutely have to be on the bottom to be fast, to just the opposite. A top feeder racetrack where you have to be on the outside lane to be fast. That's exactly what we saw. Ethan Lane knew how important it was to be on the outside in turn 1. He may have cut it a little close in the early going, trying to get back up to the outside lane, and that's when the chaos ensued. So, same type of racing here at Bristol as we've seen all throughout the past years and decades, just a little bit different as far as how it's done. It's still single lane, use the bumper, and try to force your way into holes that may or may not be there, except, as we said, it's now on the top, not the bottom.
And with this race, in the first few laps, the 7 car is going to get the free pass. Moustakis is going to fly by the field here. I believe what he said was the 7 car. Yes, it is. He's going to fly by the field and go to the rear, but when you look at this race, it could very well come up, Tony, to attrition. We've seen 2 big wrecks in the first 20 laps or so of this race. So now we will see who ends up surviving, per se. This could very well be a race where you have to survive to get to the end. You look at guys like Todd Guerin. Guerin started at the 11th. We talked about him being a short track guy. Likes those short tracks on this iRacing service. He is in position number 5 right now through all of this. Gulata started 14th. He's up to 6th. Nick Furler started 26th. He's up to position number 11. There are some guys that are just staying out of the way and staying out of trouble, and they are up in the top 10 or just outside the top 10 right now. But it continues to be your top 2. I think if you're going to win this race, at least in the first 25 laps of this thing, you're going to have to beat Tyler Laughlin or Ryan Lowe.
Doesn't matter in the first 25 laps, though, Tim. It matters on lap 150, and like you said, attrition could play a major factor. Could come back to bite these guys. We do anticipate at least 1, if not maybe 2 stops And the way all that cycles through could wreak havoc on the running order. Tyler Laughlin and Ryan Lowe could get stuck in a mid-pack collision later in the event. We really don't know. There are so many variables that still have yet to be assigned and yet to play out. So we're simply speculating and really firing darts at nothing at the moment. We have no clue where it's going to stick or if it's even going to matter where it sticks once it all shakes out. But like you said, keeping your nose clean is very important. They always tell drivers in the drivers meeting, as much as we've heard it, you cannot win the race on lap number 1, or in this case lap 27 or 28, but you certainly can lose it. So patience, the name of the game here at Bristol. Sometimes it takes a little bit of common sense, a spotter in your ear to say, look, just give that spot up, we'll get it back later. We've got a long race ahead of us as we're getting ready to go back green.
We'll see what T-Loft can do from the inside of row number 1 this time. Green, a flag gonna fly here. We are back underway. 6 and 1, drive it into corner number 1. Look at the run. The 1 gets off corner number 1, but off of 2. T-Loft slides up, crossover on the inside, and Ryan Lowe gonna go to the inside to try to get the lead here.
And Tim, that was a little bit of give and take. A take on the part of the 6 of Laughlin, some give on the part of Ryan Lowe in the 1. Lowe could have gotten back in the gas and try to fill that hole, but that risk was to take both of those cars out of contention. Ryan Lowe, smart at this stage, said it's not worth the risk. Just cracked the throttle enough and tried to get the position on exit. He still ends up in the 2nd spot, however, but the car is intact, and he continues to race as we work lap number 30.
Trent Ringler falling back in car number 11, almost up against the fence in corners 3 and 4. Gulata going to try to make a move on car number 11. Looks like Ringler not happy with his race car right now. Tony lost 3rd off the start, and we got a little bit of smoke down here on the back straightaway. We're still green flag racing. 15 continues to work on this number 11. We got some lap traffic up here too.
That's the 27 of Alvis. He spun out of turn number 2 harmlessly to the inside. We stayed green. Now he's back up to speed, and right, well, not really in the way, but right in the direct sight line of the leaders, and that is a little unsettling, Tim. You know he's down there. You're pretty sure he's not going to become an issue, but if you want to dive bomb a guy or try to slide job him, it's one more obstacle to overcome, and still, it's in the back of your mind if he happens to do something you're not expecting, it too can create havoc here at the front half of the pack.
Top 2 have broken away a little bit, Tony, over position number 3, Keegan Leahy. Leahy has the 11 and 15 side by side behind him. It's Ringler and the 15 on the inside are now behind him of Gulata. Gulata tried to make that move on the inside. He's tried a couple of times to make that pass, just can't seem to get it to stick. He might have to bonsai it on in here as he gets sideways through the corner. Gulata gonna have the rest of the field stack up behind him. This thing is gonna get big into corner number 3.
And Tim, that's how you've got to make passes here. Wait for a guy to make a mistake or force him to make a mistake, and then take quick and evasive action to take full advantage of it. That's what we just saw, and everybody behind him scattered. A couple guys lost spots, a couple of guys were able to gain spots, but that is the name of the game here, being quick on your feet and being able to recognize a situation before it becomes a bigger situation. One car around at a turn number 4, and then throw Alvis again down the apron again harmlessly. We will stay green, but yeah, it got really, really hairy back in 5th. And speaking of 5th, Todd Guerin now racing with Joseph Gulata. That pair side by side off turn number 4. And once again, the bottom, so very hard to make a pass here. You've got to keep that momentum rolling, and it's very hard in the inside lane to do that. You really almost have to use the guy up or move him, get into or through the corner to make that pass.
You can set it up off the previous corner like Guerin almost did there. Go to the inside and try to beat the driver to the corner, try to get a little bit of a slide job going and hope it sticks for that position. That might be, if you don't want to move a guy, that might be the only way to pass on that inside line. Get that run off the previous corner and then try to drive it in and beat the other driver to that corner to pick up that position.
Oh.
T-Loff and Ryan Lowe continue to battle up in front, and they have company in Keegan Leahy.
Keegan Leahy has joined him. That a second ago was Michael Gariglia. He was sideways back at about the 13th, 14th spot, trying to do just what you were talking about, trying to dive bomb in on somebody and got it a little too sideways. But yes, that battle for the top 3 is a dandy, and Leahy has quietly maintained that spot. We haven't talked a lot about him. He started 2nd on the field, and here he is continuing to ride 3rd in that number 9. And wouldn't surprise me if by the end of the day, that number 9 is absolutely rolling towards the front, even closer than he is now. Camaro is certainly getting a good ride from Keegan Leahy. And for that matter, Trent Ringler, Tim, 10 laps ago, he was junk. Now that 11 car is starting to reel in the leaders, or at least keeping them in touch as they continue to circulate. Lap 43 on the board this time.
Yeah, I don't think Ringler's too far off from catching those guys in front if this thing does stay green. The battle back here, though, Tony, is for position number 5. And it was Gulata that used up his stuff. We got one with a blown motor. Is that Ringler that blew the motor going down onto pit road? He will head to the attention of his crew. And I would say Ringler's probably done for the evening. Now this battle for 5th is now a battle for 4th. And Tony, it's got Gulata with about 7 behind him stacked up, waiting to make a move.
Tim, they always say they run best right before they blow. That's the case, unfortunately, for Trent Ringler. But yes, this battle for now 4th on back, a dandy. It's about really an 8-car fracas, and here goes the attempted slide job by Guerin. He'll get into the 15 of Gulata, who somehow bounces it off the safer barrier and keeps rolling, but that wasn't exactly the cleanest pass. But guess what, Tim? Sometimes that's what you got to do here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So now Gulata's temper is maybe up a couple of notches. He'll keep, trust me, he will not forget that. If he sees Todd Guerin the rest of this race, he will repay the favor, I guarantee you. And that's one of the things about racing here at Bristol, why you want to keep your nose clean, Tim. Yes, it keeps the car in one piece, but it also helps you avoid future carnage. Make a guy mad now. Come lap 130, he remembers that, and if he's in a position to pay you back for what he thought was a place where you wronged him, guess what? You're getting ready to become a pinball before it's over.
The 24 and 15 are battling for position. Gulata's fallen back all the way to position number 11, Tony, and after that little slide, all those drivers passed him, and I don't think he's really found his footing. Talk about that temper raising a little bit higher. He's now got the 24, the 4, the 8 behind him, I believe that is. So now this train starts all over again, where he was running in position number 4, he falls back to position number 11, and now he's 11th, and he's got about 8 more cars behind him, so he's got to bring that temper down a little bit, try to get back in the rhythm, and hopefully he can start to pick off some time and catch those guys in front of him as opposed to falling back to those guys that are just behind him.
And Tim, that's so much easier said than done. You think, all right, hit your marks and get back in the game. It's not that difficult, right? Wrong. Look at it right now. All over the back bumper is that 24 of Gariglia, and stacked them up coming down the front straightaway. Joey Israelson had nowhere to go. He had to jump out of line. Blake Bryan is there after being involved in the crash earlier. Bryan's going to get a spot. Devin Janikowski is there. And Tim, that's just a product of trying so hard to get back to where you were. This is the thing. If you're not very familiar with Bristol and you have no idea what these drivers are really up against, Tim, this is probably one of the most exhausting tracks on the circuit. And I know what you're thinking. It's a simulated series. It's simulated, actually sanctioned by NASCAR. I get that, okay. But trust me, you are up on the wheel for all 16 seconds of a lap here, Tim. You barely blip the throttle. You're on the wheel trying to keep it off the outside wall. It's dancing on exit as you try to keep it from dancing across into the inside wall. By the time you catch it, it's time to set up for the next corner and do it all over again. 16 seconds doesn't sound like a lot of time, but it is an eternity here at Bristol, and you are constantly up on the wheel. It's a never-ending battle to try to keep the car going forward here at the Concrete Canyon.
Field will put another lap on the 19 of Justin Fuller, and Tony, about 3 laps ago, the 9 came off of the corner and put it in the fence on the straightaway. You could see that thing just barely hop on the straightaway. I don't know how much damage he got from it, but with Teloff and Ryan Lowe running as hard as they are up in front of this field, he might be able to keep pace with them. But if Ryan Lowe is to get past Teloff and start to pull away a little bit, it might hurt Keegan a little bit more than it is right now. He lost about a 10th that last lap by as Teloff and Ryan Lowe continue to go at it. Lowe in the fence in the middle of the corner there. Teloff going to gain a little bit of time here as he comes across the start-finish line that time. 58 laps completed, and Lowe trying to stay off the wall. He was in it the last lap by here in 3 and 4.
Tim, you're going to be in it a bunch here. As the tires wear, the grip level goes away, and you're so close to the outside safer barrier anyway, you're going to glance off of it. In fact, sometimes that's the faster way around. You don't have to worry about using the brakes to get the car rotated. You just sort of lean the right rear quarter panel into the safer barrier, drag it along, and keep digging. Kind of like Darlington used to be way back in the day. It's very similar here at Bristol now. Reminds me of the Indiana short track Winchester Speedway. A lot of people compare it to Bristol, and they're very similar. very similar size, very similar banking angles. Winchester actually at one point was banked 40 degrees in the corners. Yeah, 40. Pretty doggone steep. And it was the same way. You'd run right up against the outside wall. And a lot of people think that's why people like Darrell Waltrip and Rusty Wallace had such success at Bristol over the years with the running places like Winchester and Salem, Indiana, through their tenure in the ASA, the great ASA National Tour back in the day, and some other similar series. And, yeah, bouncing it off the wall here that lightly, Tim, not going to matter. If anything, again, just going to keep you rolling through the finish.
Top three remains status quo, about a half second in between your top three, fluctuates every lap or two. Jeremy Davis has actually run down Keegan Leahy. He's about 3 car lengths behind the number 9. And with Keegan smacking the wall on the straightaway a little bit more than a brush about 10 laps ago or so, I think Jeremy Davis might be able to get up here to Keegan and maybe have something for him for position number 3. Todd Guerin runs in position number 5. We got a gaggle back here for position number 6. Brandon Hoff, Casey Kerwin, Vanisdahl, and Furler, 4 cars strong, single file, battling for position number 6. But Tony, we saw the battle earlier with Gulata explode when that lead car had an issue. 21 and 25 almost got together there through that little exchange, but you got to believe the pressure is on Brandon Hoff right now to keep ahead of these guys.
And pressure was on Michael Van Osdal, and he just relinquished the spot to Nick Furler. Here comes the 26 of Burley, tried the slide job. Wasn't really a slide job, but he got the spot. Makes me think Van Osdal's car could be going away, Tim. I see a lot of these cars in the center of the corner. The wheels are just cranked as left as they can get them. They're really beginning to get tight. This is the longest green flag run. I think a lot of these guys have seen at Bristol all week long. We're what, about 40 laps into this run? We have not seen any of the leaders on pit road. We're almost to halfway of the entire race, Tim. So those tires certainly are wearing out, and now the drivers have got a handful. You're slipping, you're sliding, you're trying your best to keep it off the guy next to you, in front of you, behind you, and things are about to get really, really hairy as this thing continues to unfold.
Change for third 2 laps ago, and Jeremy Davis is gone from Keegan Leahy, and he is running down your top 2 right now. Davis the last lap by at a 16.13. These guys up in front turning 16.2s. Davis is going to be there. Whatever he has in that race car, he is using it up right now to get up to your top 2. Leahy in position number 4, and he's got Todd Guerin getting bigger in the rear view mirror for position at number 4. Brandon Hoff and that 4-car battle continues to be back there for position number 6, but your top 3 look to get exciting. Ryan Lowe gets up and kisses a wall in the middle of that corner there. Jeremy Davis is coming for your top 2.
And Tim, I don't know that Davis is really burning his stuff up. You look back at the lap chart, he's run 16.1, 16.0s, 15.9s most of this race. He hasn't really fallen off as much as everybody else because everybody else seems to have used their stuff up at the beginning of the run. Not a surprise, however, Jeremy Davis is a veteran of short track racing here in the iRacing service. He knows how to get the job done, and looks like he was expecting a long run because he is taking care of his equipment, and he is now here at the end of this run. So Jeremy Davis, now this is different from what we've seen in the past, but this is the one out of California. Nonetheless, he's certainly giving that number 20 car a fantastic run here tonight. Tim, look at that car through the center of the corner. He's not driving it in nearly as deep. He's able to carry more momentum to the center. The car is able to cut, and that is where he's making all of his time on the top pair.
So the 6 and the 1 that have continued their battle since the start of this race, halfway home now, 75 down and 75 to go. We'll see if Ryan Lowe in this second half of this race can make the move on Teloff to pick up the victory here on the B Open night. Looked at a corner number 4 that time, nothing doing down the front straightaway. He'll continue to set his sights, and that 20 car is there. We have a 3-car battle, 1 to the inside of the 6. Here he goes now, trying to make the move. Ryan Lowe says it's go time. Out of corner number 4, across the stripe, it's going to be Teloff leading. The 1 car going to fall back into line in position number 2.
I think Ryan Lowe felt that Laughlin has been holding him up, and now is the time to try to do something because Jeremy Davis has caught him, Tim. Don't be surprised if Lowe maybe gets a little out of shape here, makes an out-of-character move, trying to not only grab the lead, but keep Jeremy Davis from getting around him. You've got to play the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. And when you're making laps like jet planes in a gymnasium, sometimes it's a little easier said than done. It should be interesting to see how it all pans out up front because we still have a very long way to go.
One car continues to pour the pressure on the 6 of T-Loff. The 20 of Jeremy Davis runs in that third place position. Then it's about a second and a half or so back to Keegan Leahy in position number 4, who has Todd Guerin about 6 car lengths or so behind him. So that battle for 4th is subsided for at least the time being. The 1 car continues to chase that 6, and this is the best battle on the racetrack right now. 3 cars going at it for the top spot.
Tim, these guys have opened up about a second and a half back to 4th place, Keegan Leahy. Leahy has picked up a mad push on his number 9, and look at this. Problems, oh, trouble, Tim.
14 car got sideways, Tony, but I think it happened behind him as a byproduct of all this, and it did. It was the 16, the 10, and the 4 getting into it, and the 2 separate incidents here, Tony. It's the 10 and Gulata getting into it to start it off, but in front of them, the 14 and that little crew also had a moment. What brought out the caution, though, was the 10 and the 15 fighting over real estate. It ended in corner number 3 with the 15 getting into the 10, then everybody checking up behind. We had a 3-wide battle go wrong off corner number 4. The 10's in the wall. There's a bunch of cars and a bunch of incidents on that last lap.
Yeah, Tim, there certainly was, and with all that, that means it is time for pit stops. Tyler Laughlin on pit road. So is Ryan Lowe in for service. We anticipate it'll be 4 tires and a tank of virtual Sunoco Racing fuel, or at least enough to get to the end of this race. Only about a 75-mile distance, so you might not need to top it all the way off. Down and away is Laughlin. He'll win the race off the pit lane. Just behind him, now that'll be Ryan Lowe and Jeremy Davis as they came onto pit lane. Same for Leahy and Todd Guerin. So not a lot of changes at the front of the field, Tim. But one thing that has changed now, the field has been mixed up. Everybody has 4 new stickers and a full tank of fuel, and in some cases, a chance to pull out the fenders, fix some of the damage, and somehow assess what that car has got wrong with it, and maybe administer repairs to get it rolling better for the second half of this one.
Raul Alves may be done for the evening. 27 car smoking on the apron. The 6 car T-Loff is scored as your leader. Let's step away for just a few moments' time, and we'll bring it back to some more live racing. You're watching iRacing Night. It's NASCAR iRacing Class B Series from the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Welcome back to the Bristol Motor Speedway, just past the halfway point here in tonight's 150-lap contest on the high banks in Northeast Tennessee. Field just received the 1-to-go signal. Lights are out atop the safety car. This the first of 5, count them 5, NASCAR sanctioned events broadcast on major NASCAR partnerships this week from the Thunder Valley that is Bristol, Tennessee. Of course, tonight the NASCAR Xfinity Series B-Class cars on iRacing. Tomorrow night, the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tours, plural, for a combo event in Bristol, followed by the NASCAR Crash and Truck Series. Friday night, the Xfinity Series, and Saturday night, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Had a moment there for a second. Nonetheless, Tim, we're getting ready to go back racing once again. Green flag in the air. Tyler Laughlin, 6, and Ryan Lowe going to lead him off to turn 1. Look at this. Laughlin getting racy on the bottom. So is Lowe up top. They'll lead on one another. Into the outside wall is Ryan Lowe. Contact between the leaders. Laughlin still unable to clear him. They'll race side by side off turn 4.
Ryan Lowe going to lead that lap, and Tony, I think he knew that this was the perfect opportunity. The 6 car gets into the fence, 9 car going to get by. Here comes Davis, the 22 with Garrett. They're all on the back bumper of the 6. We mentioned the tempers in these race cars. I'm sure Teloff is a little bit upset right now.
Trouble!
He's going to harness it.
Hard in the wall. Brandon Hoff here on the front straightaway somehow will stay green. He just got hooked into the outside wall behind him. The number 8 of Blake Bryant got drop kicked to the apron, and miraculously everybody kept rolling. That had caution written all over it, but somehow again they held on to him.
Up front, Brian Lowe continues to lead by a half second over Keegan Leahy. Tyler Laughlin in car number 6 runs in position number 3, trying to chase down car number 9 for the spot that he gave up. Jeremy Davis and Casey Kerwin has made his way up into the top 5 in car number 12. Kerwin was involved in that battle for position number 6 on that long green flag run prior to the caution flag. Now running in position number 5, see what he can do in the second half of this race. We're working lap number 93 of 150.
And Tim, I'm very curious to see now what kind of damage, or what kind of effects I should say, the damage on the number 1 car Ryan Lowe has on that machine as the race goes on. Yeah, aerodynamics aren't that important here at Bristol, but they do matter somewhat. You're doing close to a $140 getting off in the corner. You're still at 100 miles an hour in the center. So aerodynamics certainly means something. The other concern, did he bend anything? He smacked the wall pretty good off turn 2 on those first couple of laps. Is the toe bent? Is the control arm bent? Is something in the front geometry knocked askew to where it'll show up later in the run? If so, that's good news for Keegan Leahy and Jeremy Davis, who really have kept their cars relatively clean here over the rest of the night. Look at Adam Burley further back. That car also on the outside wall, off of turn number 4. And now he is giving up spots through turns 1 and 2.
He's got 2 more cars underneath him in this train. If he can try to get in here, the 24 back to the inside. Burley might have a chance here on this outside line to try to clear the number 24, but here comes the 15 behind him of Gulata. Gulata going to try to make a position on the 24 as well. Fantastic little race back here for positions 9, 10, and 11. 24 drives it into corner number 3, trying to pick up that spot. Cannot do so. The 15 will get the run off the corner and maintain that position. They'll continue to go at it single file. In front of them, the 14 has pressure from the 26.
Oh, and the 15 car of Galata caught a piece of the safer barrier. Watch out, here we go. Hoff again sideways in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Got a little help. Despite that, was still able to hang on to it. Gariglia tries to take a spot or 2. Here comes number 3 of Jordan Worth wanting to join the party. Things are getting hectic and getting hectic in a hurry. This time by 99 laps complete, and trouble on the racetrack. Caution is out once again. Looks like out of turn number 2, Justin Fuller may have brought it out this time, Tim.
Car number 19 definitely involved in it. He's battling with the number 23 car, and you know what? That wasn't Fuller's fault that time. The 23 car gets sideways. Janikowski in the middle of the racetrack. He is 1 lap down and collects it right into the 19 car. Justin Fuller, innocent bystander there. The 23 Tony, I don't want to say ran out of talent, but he overdrove that race car a little bit, overcooked it in the middle of the corner, got into Fuller, and brings out the caution flag. We got a couple of cars coming down pit road here.
A few of the leaders deciding to come down pit road. Leahy faked, and now Tyler Laughlin does in fact commit to the pit lane. Remember back in the spring, Tim, this is exactly what happened. Leaders got into an incident. They came down pit road about this time of the race and were not able to recover. Tyler Laughlin apparently feeling the damage or whatever adjustment they made in the last stop did not work, and now he is committed to come down pit road. 4 brand new tires and a virtual tank of fuel, so he is going to have to slice back through this field, and that might be entertaining to see how all that works out, because not everybody came down pit road. In fact, the majority of lead lap cars stayed on the racetrack, Tim. Could be a big mistake for the number 6 of Tyler Laughlin. We'll have to see how it all works out.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go, and on the other side of it though, Tony, I don't think he was winning the race from where he was with the damage that he had. Come down, get 4 fresh tires, get a little bit of an adjustment to that race car, and see if you can come from the rear of the field to win this. On the other side of it though, we've seen some drivers get swept up in the middle of this pack. Saw the battle with Adam Burley, the rest of the little battle for position number 6, 7 back there. There's not a whole lot of time to make up track position, especially when there's less than 50 laps to go. I see where they're coming from. I see where Adam Gilliland is coming from on top of the box. They probably were not winning the race from position number 3 and 4. Ryan Lowe has a little bit of a faster race car. I see where they're coming from, but it's going to be a long road to hoe to get back up to the front in this short amount of time that we have.
Tim, one of the things championship teams and drivers know is don't beat yourself. There are days you're going to have a third-place car, and your job is to simply finish third with it. Not win the race, not finish second, but take the third-place car and finish third. I think in Tyler Laughlin's case, tonight was that night. You may have had a third or fourth-place car after the current circumstances. Your job is to finish in that third or fourth spot. Where he is now, I don't see that happening as easily. He's going to restart in 11th on the inside, so already the deck is stacked against him. He's going to have some extra work to do. That's what happened in the initial restart. This last cautioned him. So Tyler Laughlin's stuck in a very similar predicament, and not a lot of time to get the job done. He's got less than 50 laps, about 45 when we go back green. I do not see Tyler Laughlin moving back up to where he was. I think the gamble is not worth it. In my mind, I think they've lost more than they ever could gain or regain once it all shakes out.
Okay, let me pose this to you, Tony. You're Keegan Leahy on the outside. You saw what happened on that last restart. How greedy or how much do you push if you're Keegan Leahy on the outside here coming to this restart?
I think if you get a great start and you are even or beat the one of Ryan Lowe to turn 1, absolutely, you get as greedy as you can and you make him earn it. If he beats you on the restart, don't sweat it, check up, give him the lane, and then worry about trying to get around him. Otherwise, don't burn your stuff up when there's not as much of a chance of you getting around him and maybe taking both cars out.
Here they come. Green flag flies. So 1 of the 9 are going to get single file. The battle for position number 3 also going to get single file. Battle back there around Gulata for position number 5. It's going to be the 22 of Todd Guerin on the inside and Casey Kerwin. They're all going to get single file. Tony behind them. It's a hornet's nest.
It is ugly, to say the least. Tim up in the outside wall is Nick Furler. Contact with his 25. He'll somehow hang on to it. But this is the time of the race. You see more and more guys slipping, making those errors, simply trying to get a little too greedy. And just ahead of him, Tyler Laughlin picked up a spot in number 6. Luke Teloff in position number 10. But again, I don't see that 6 car making up the ground that he lost on the pit stop before the checker flag.
Yeah, the 9 car's going for it up in front here, Tony. You can see him poking the nose to the inside, trying to set up some sort of pass here by the looks of it. Ryan Lowe in car number 1 might be feeling a little bit of pressure right now as they run down the back straightaway. The 20 of Davis is there, and I think, Tony, if Davis gets a long run, he might be a little bit better off in these top 2, but the 9 is hungry right now, continuing to look on the inside each and every lap, just can't seem to get there to set up the pass in the 1, and look what the 1 did that last time by. Instead of sticking high through the corner, he went to the little bit of a middle lane here. He's going to do the same thing around here. Is that maybe trying to block the lane off from the 9?
A little bit, Tim. As the leader, you have that advantage. As long as you can block that top lane from getting a run on you through the corner, you can do about whatever you want and exit and not have to worry about it. So Ryan Lowe trying to do just that, drive as defensively as possible, use the hill to his advantage, and try to keep the 9 car Keegan Leahy behind him, but it doesn't seem to be working well. It seems to be working very well, but I think Lowe realized he was losing speed and decided to stay at the top of the racetrack now, as that line has adjusted one more time as they come by and click off yet another lap.
So the 9 car falls off the pace of the 1 by about a car length that last time by. The 20 car closing in as well. 3 car little battle up here for the top spot. 113 to complete it this time by, and don't look too far behind because you're going to see Casey Kerwin and Todd Guerin going at it. Guerin to the inside of the number 12. That's the battle for position number 4, and Guerin gets sideways on the inside line in the middle of 1 and 2, and he loses a ton of time on the 12.
But he held on to it, Tim. That's the kicker. It's so easy to overdrive the corner here. It's so easy to beat yourself, make that one slip up, and Todd Guerin didn't get too greedy with the gas or the brake or the steering wheel when trying to save that car. Reeled it back in, got it back under control, and now he can live to fight yet another lap. Still in the 5th spot, so he will lose a whole lot, and Todd Guerin's going to drop back and punt and try to go at this one more time.
Casey Kerwin's going to try to go at Jeremy Davis here. Davis lost a little bit of momentum that last time by, slid up into the fence in the middle of the corner, and now the 12 within a car length of the number 20 at Jeremy Davis. Casey Kerwin pushing to the front when he needs to. The 12 all up on the 20, about a car length in between those two. Up in front continues to be the 1, and the 1 is actually pulled away the last couple laps. Keegan Leahy may have got a little bit close to that wall at a corner number 3 the last time by.
Tim, it's hard to say. They've all bounced it off the safer barrier at one point, it seems like tonight, or another. And it's getting to the point in the race where it doesn't matter. You've saved your car for nearly 120 laps. You've gotten yourself in a position to finish as well as you possibly can. This is your typical Saturday night, or in this case Tuesday night special. 30 laps, get the job done, go at it for all it's worth. Leahy knows that. Lowe knows that. Everybody in this field realizes what point in the race we are at. The final 20% of it, it's go time. You've got to start taking. There's no more giving, and this means things get a little more heated. The tempers are going to pick up, and more than likely, Tim, we're not going to see a long run to the checkers. We may. It's entirely possible. But if I was a betting man, I would place a bet on a few short runs to get to the end of this one.
19 car going to go a lap down. The 9 car gets into the fence again on the middle of the straightaway like he did about 30 laps or so ago. Justin Fuller going to go another lap down in the field. That'll be his 19th lap. He will fall down to the leader, Ryan Lowe. Jeremy Davis in position number 3, and he's got a couple of car lengths back to the 12 and the 22. The 22 has caught the 12 car again, Tony, and looking to the inside. The last time he did that, he got sideways, and he was playing catch-up for the last 10 laps, and now back to the rear bumper of the 12, trying to set up that pass. 19 of Fuller going to get in the way of this battle for position number 4. We'll have to get around this lap car and then battle it out for the spot.
Fuller going to get kind of pinned behind the number 27 of Alvis, but he's not going to stay there. Ooh, that was a hairy moment for just a second. Nonetheless, this is now becoming quickly a 3-car battle for the 3rd spot. In the fence, though, was Kerwin. Garen unable to get around him. He'll stay right on his back bumper through turns 1 and 2. And again, Tim, the bottom, not where you want to make a pass. And Garen's got to find a way around the outside, the preferred lane here. And it's so counterintuitive, but that's really what you got to do. And I don't think he's willing to use up the 12 yet, but he might be forced to before it's all over.
Yeah, we'll have to watch this battle here to see when Garen does pull the trigger. We are within 25 laps to go. 127 being worked in the racetrack now for the leaders. Top 2 have about 2 car lengths in between them. Here goes the 22 to the inside. No, he's going to pull back behind the number 12 on that occasion. The 12 continuing to hold on. Position number 4, one of the closest battles on the racetrack here. You ride on the roof of Todd Garen as he looks up at the number 12 car for position number 4. Gets a great run at a corner number 2 there. Nothing doing out of the corner. We'll see if that 22 can set something up out of one of these corners. There he goes to the inside. He is there. Can he drive it in to corner number 1 to pick up the spot? He's definitely going to try it. We're side by side.
Great job of the 12 of Garen of trying to make that happen. But Tim, the biggest thing is you've got to break that momentum to either turn under the guy or try to keep from sliding up into him. And that's what makes passing so difficult here at Bristol. You can set him up, you can get it halfway completed, but it's the second half that makes it so difficult. And Garen getting frustrated, I'm sure, behind the wheel at the moment. 20 laps to go this time, and he's got to make something happen if he wants to move forward. This group, about 2.5 seconds off the leader, Ryan Lowe. He's got about a third of a second on Keegan Leahy. Jeremy Davis solidly in 3rd. He's pulled away now from this pair. Better watch out, Tim, because Joey Israelson and Tyler Laughlin, they're starting to get a whiff of this battle for position number 4. It might be a 4-car battle for the spot before, not too long.
Yeah, before this race is over. And here comes Tyler Laughlin on the back bumper of the number 4 of Israelson, trying to make something happen here. And Tony, keep in mind, when he came down pit road, he was sitting in position number 3. The 4-car pulls down, lets the 6-car go. T-Loff has a rocket ship on his hands right now. Last lap by for Ryan Lowe, about a 10th quicker than T-Loff. This lap by for the number 1 turns into a 16:07 to T-Loff's 16:14. So they're in the same bracket, Tony. Ryan Lowe a little bit quicker, but also has 3.5 seconds on him.
Like I said, Tim, I don't think Laughlin will get back to where he was up to the 3rd or 4th spot before the race is over. The gamble wasn't worth it to me. I think he would have been in very good shape to stay where he was at. But, hey, I'm not on the box. I'm not Adam Gilliland, and I'm not getting the huge paycheck that he's getting with all 7 figures every year, plus bonuses. So we'll let him to make the big decisions, and we'll sit up here and talk.
I think he's definitely going to catch this battle in front of him, though, Tony, which will be the battle for position number 4, because Guerin continues to go to the inside. Casey Kerwin continues to hold that outside. Every time Todd Guerin goes to the inside, it's letting Teloff catch these guys. Question is, though, can he make the pass on these guys here that are battling side by side for the spot? The 22 continuing to go to the inside, trying to make that move. I don't think, though, they're going to pull over like Israelson did.
No, they're not going to pull over, Tim, and that's the thing. When you're racing side by side like this, when you're trying to fend off someone or gain a spot, you have to adjust your optimal line. You're not running exactly the fastest laps around the track. You're running the fastest for the conditions and the situation you're in, but not the fastest overall. Laughlin's in clear track. He's able to make up a little bit of time every lap. Will he get by them? If he's using them up, yes. If he doesn't use them up, I doubt it. They've got the lines pretty well covered up top, so Laughlin can be forced to do on the bottom, and as we've seen, Tim, the bottom is not the place to be. So it might be a little hairy here with this trio if somebody's going to get a pass maybe before they turn the flag.
It's definitely going to be exciting. This time by when they come across the stripe, we've got 10 laps to go here at Bristol for the NASCAR iRacing Class B Open Series. Guerin is on the back bumper of the number 12. Great run into the corner. They're going to be side by side off of corner number 2, down the back straightaway, and the 12 car powers off with that spot. And with that said, Teloff is now a part of this battle, and if they continue to go at it, Israelson will be there as well. Keep a half eye on the battle up in front for the lead. Leahy has closed the gap on Lowe. He is within a half car length of your leader.
Great racing all throughout the Bristol Motor Speedway complex. A couple of car lengths separate the top 2. A couple of inches separate the next trio behind them. And whoa, up on the wall goes Tyler Laughlin. He really sailed it into turn number 1. He's going to lose 3 or 4 car lengths down to the battle for 4th spot. But Kerwin continues to hang on. Even if by a fingernail, that last ditch effort, that last piece of finger he's got on the rock is still enough to fend off Todd Guerin despite how many challenges he continues to throw at him. And they're starting to reel in Jeremy Davis as well. Davis has really fallen off the pace the last few laps too.
The 22 and the 12, this might have to come down, Tony, to using the chrome horn here.
Up front, Tim, the 9 of Leahy just tried the dive bomb on Ryan Lowe. Lowe powered around him, but Leahy, I think, now is pulling out all the stops, Tim.
9 car trying to get to the inside of the number 1, Ryan Lowe, just trying to hit his marks here for the remaining 4 laps of this race. 147 being worked on the board. 4 laps remaining. The 9 is on the back bumper, Tony, waiting to make a move.
I think that move, Tim, is going to involve the chrome horn. He's going to shove the 1 car off the racetrack, and that's how he'll get around him. That's about the only way you can really complete the pass here at Bristol. And if you continue to wait to the very end like Leahy appears to be doing, there's no time to retaliate. This time by 2 laps to go, just over a mile remaining at Bristol. Can Keegan Leahy get the job done and steal one from Ryan Lowe?
If he's going to do it, he might have to use some muscle in order to get by him. The 1 car leaving him the inside line, down the back straightaway. We'll see if he can make a move down here into corners 3 and 4. They'll come to the white silk this time by last lap for Ryan Lowe at the Bristol Motor Speedway, trying to hold off Keegan Leahy in car number 9 as they work through 1 and 2 down the back straightaway for the final time. The 9 car trying to make this thing happen. Does he use the chrome horn in 3 and 4? He is there. He sends the 1 car around in corner number 4, and the 9 car will come to victory lane. Keegan Leahy with the bump-in run or bump-in wreck, Tony, whatever you want to call it, is going to win at Bristol.
Called it, Tim. The bumper was going to be used. I don't think that's exactly what Keegan had in mind. Reason being, you saw him stop. You saw him check up and try to let the 1 gather it back in, and then he had no choice. Momentum just carried him right back into him. But I think Keegan meant to move him. He didn't mean to spin him, but nonetheless, the 1 car ended up in the sand barrels on the entrance to the pit lane, and Keegan Leahy took the checkered flag. Wasn't pretty, wasn't the way I'm sure he wanted to win one, but it doesn't matter. Keegan Leahy is going to go to victory lane here in Thunder Valley.
And it almost looked like for a second that Ryan Lowe was going to go headhunting there. He was coming around the racetrack and decided not to. Keegan Leahy will be the one that celebrates in the front straightaway. He'll get a little bump from Justin Fuller. It'll be Leahy, Davis, Kerwin, Guerin, and Teloff, your top 5. We'll step away for just a few moments' time, bring you back to the post-race show, where we'll talk to as many of the top 5 as we can here on iRacing Night. The outside contact made. 56 slides in at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy. Welcome back to the Bristol Motor Speedway last lap pass with a little bit of the chrome horn to go with. It's Keegan Leahy going to victory lane after Ryan Lowe led on lap 149. He did not lead lap number 150 to close off this race. Jeremy Davis comes home in second. Casey Kerwin, Todd Guerin, and Teloff complete your top 5. We'll talk to as many of the top 5 as we can. But Tony, I believe you caught up with our second place driver who was in a battle amongst himself for that spot, Jeremy Davis.
Certainly have, Tim. Jeremy Davis, the driver of the number 20. And Jeremy, first half of the race looked like you had a very solid long-run car. Second half of the race, surprisingly, went caution-free the last 30 or 40 laps, and it seemed that your car just went away. Was it contact, was it damage, or did you simply burn it up trying to catch the leaders?
Well, I think we made a really good tire decision early on to come get some fresh rubber, and once we did that, we got back out there, and the car it drove itself basically on the long run. And after a long, tough time behind a lot of drivers, we got our way back up behind those top 2 guys and just rode. But yeah, we just burnt the rubber up there at the end, and they just drove away from us.
Jeremy, how hard was it to pass out there tonight? Can you describe how you actually had to execute a pass on somebody?
Oh, well, I followed a lot of guys that did it probably the wrong way for most people who would think, but they had to move people. That was the only way, unless you had a really good car like Ryan Lowe did. But even he struggled to pass people like Tyler Laughlin up there. He was just, it was tough to pass, and you got to use the bumper sometimes, and I think a lot of people did tonight, which is why we saw what happened after the race.
Well, congratulations. Solid second place run. Best of luck in 1 week's time.
Thank you.
At second place runner, Jeremy Davis. Tim Terry, who in the world have you found down roaming the garage area with their heads still attached?
Well, we'll see how attached it is. Keegan Leahy is your winner here this evening, and I'll just ask it to you. Set up that pass for the win.
I wouldn't call it a pass, man, but I had the intention of getting as close as I could to him. I was trying to screw up his exit. I didn't want to hit him, man. I was on his bumper for 20 laps there. I could have done it way earlier than that if I wanted to, but I'm sure he's mad, and I'd be mad. And I was mad in that same situation before, but Bristol, baby.
And a win is a win, and as you mentioned, you were on the back bumper of that number 1 car for many, many laps at the end of that. It looked like you and him had a nice little battle up there throughout the second half of this race.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him actually. He was the class of the field for the first half of that race. I don't know if he made a bad adjustment or something, because I certainly did. I forgot to change my offset when I put less fuel in, so I was tight for that whole last run. But yeah, we were having a great battle, and he's a great driver to race against.
We're coming down to the end of the 2015 calendar year, or in the second half of it. Where do we see you racing on the iRacing service?
Yeah, 25 weeks, but I was only in here for like 5 of them. I'm a ringer here, I guess. But you know what? We're going for pro next year. I got a great team behind me. It's the best team environment I've ever had, and we're going for it. You'll see us battling whole time.
And Tony Stevens, we've seen him battling this evening. He comes home with a victory. Keegan Leahy, and as he mentioned, not the way he wanted to win this race, but if he's running for this NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, I think he's going to be a contender as we work through the end of the 2015, start of the 2016 season. Write down that name. It's going to be big. You've caught up with Casey Kerwin, I believe, in position number 3.
Certainly have, Tim, and you're right. Keegan Leahy, one of the things about being a NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series driver is doing what you've got to do when you've got to do it. That's what he did. And Casey Kerwin, you also had a solid run here tonight. Very quietly, we might add. Started in the 12th spot, made your way up to 3rd. How'd you do it?
Yeah, we started off a little on the loose side and fell back to I think about 15th and got really loose a couple times and made an adjustment on the first caution and fell back to I think 17th after pitting, and then just slowly but surely worked our way up there. Was able to restart on the outside most of the restarts, and was able to move forward, and then was battling hard there with Todd at the end, and I guess Lowe and Leahy got together, and Lowe went around and ended up being a battle for 3rd. So can't thank all the guys at Apex Motorsports Group enough for giving me a great car.
And kind of like we asked earlier to a couple of drivers, you obviously figured out how to pass people. We saw a lot of use of the bumper. We saw a lot of guys waiting for somebody to make a mistake. To make up that many spots, how were you able to get around the guys that sat in front of you?
Yeah, I never really was confident enough to get to the bottom, and I kind of just rode until an opportunity came up where you'd get loose and I could stick it up top, and I got in the back of Hoff one time, put him in the wall, so I decided not to drive it in as deep around when I was right behind someone, but I never really was able to get around people much. I usually there was a couple times where they got tangled up in front of me and I was able to get around a couple spots, and then through pit stops and pit strategy and stuff was able to get up there.
Well, hey, it doesn't matter how you get there. All that matters is the result. 3rd place for Casey Kerwin. Tim Terry, I believe you have caught up with another one of the top 5 finishers.
And that's Todd Guerin in position number 4 here this evening. And Todd, let's talk about your run, because that battle at the end looked pretty exciting from where we were sitting.
Oh, definitely. That was some of the most fun I've had in a long time on here, and it was very tough. I'm wore out after that one.
I know you do a lot of short track racing. How fun is this combination that we saw here this evening for 150 laps of B car at Bristol?
Short tracks are obviously the most exciting racing, other than maybe super speedways, and you got a little bit of more control in where you're going to finish a short track. So I love it when they come here, because I feel like I can compete with some of these guys that walk the field every week, and I don't have it down on the mile and a halves, but we come to Bristol, that's more my territory.
Started mid-pack, worked your way up to 4th. Are you happy with the finish, or do you think you could have been up there with Keegan, Jeremy, and some of those guys battling for the win tonight?
I think to an extent you're always happy to finish at Bristol, but when I started the race, I would have been thrilled if you'd told me I was going to finish 4th, but towards the end there, some of the guys that got taken out and how the car was handling, I would have liked to have gotten up there and mixed it up, but sometimes that's the way the ball bounces, and I'll take my 4th and definitely move on with some momentum.
For those that don't know the name Todd Guerin, where do we see you racing on the iRacing service?
Like I said, usually around the short track somewhere, but I drift here and there. I run with the ASRS guys a lot, in the zone racing guys a lot, and when I'm league racing, I've been running with Jeremy and Zach and some of those guys over at Nexus for these B Open races, and I don't know, thinking about maybe making a run in the A car again next year, so we'll see how that goes.
And there's Todd Guerin in position number 4. Tony, great run for driver number 22 this evening. I believe you have caught up with somebody that looked like he was going to win the race or at least finish in the top 5, and he ends up in position number 9 at the end of this one. It's Ryan Lowe.
Needless to say, not very thrilled. Ryan, what happened on the final lap from where you sat?
I mean, after our incident with T-Loft, when he basically ran us up into the wall coming out of 2, it just broke the car, so I was always tight, and Keegan caught up, and he just ended up getting into the left rear. He said he tried to rattle my cage, but if you're going to do that, hit him square, not in the left rear, because in iRacing that just spins you. So that's basically what happened.
So anything in the memory bank, any sort of hard feelings? What do you do after this?
I mean, there's really nothing you can do. I mean, all I could say right now is saying that after the wall, I got really tight. I mean, if T-Loft and I never got together and I got put in the wall, I would have probably been 2 seconds out at the end and had an easy win. So it just sucks for that, and hopefully move on to next week and do something great in the Peak Series.
What does this give you any sort of extra motivation going into Phoenix as far as the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, or does this simply become a little bit of a distraction now?
I'm not really thinking too much about this. I mean, for Phoenix, I won there in the Pro Series, so I have confidence going in, and I just got to turn a couple of laps. I haven't practiced there really yet, so I'll be looking forward to practicing there.
Oh, that is Ryan Lowe, Tim. Not a whole lot to say after everything was all said and done tonight at Bristol, but you can easily hear the emotion in his voice, and he's kind of happy to get out of here and just move on to the next one.
And we'll see that next one come up next week for the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. It's going to be exciting, Tony. Phoenix International Raceway, I believe, is the destination that we are headed to next week. And this is where everything begins to get interesting. The drop race factored in, the next 4 races, you have what you have. Kenny Humpy's got a lot. Everybody else is trying to chase driver number 58 while Humpy tries to wrap this up a couple of races before it's even over.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see how it all pans out. And I think drivers further back in the standings know if they want any shot at Humpy, they've got to really put something on the fire right now. There is no saving this season if you cannot get around Kenny Humpy. But problem is, Tim, that 58 car has been just absolutely bulletproof all season long. And even if he has a hiccup or 2 big hiccups, we don't even call him a hiccup. We call him an absolute stomach movement or whatever you want to call it. He has to literally puke his guts up a couple of times to lose this championship. Doable? Oh, yeah, we've seen it happen. Possible? Yeah. Likely? No. Kenny Humpy, I think, is simply on cruise control at this point, and it'd be fun to see what kind of things they have to throw at him as this continues on.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Coming up next week, NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, supported by iRacing. You're going to want to be here for it. Wherever you're watching us here this evening, return here next Tuesday night for all the racing action. That's going to do it for us here this evening from the Bristol Motor Speedway for the NASCAR iRacing Class B Open Series. Congratulations to our winner, Keegan Leahy, and the rest of the field. My name is Tim Terry, Tony Stevens, Ian Bushing, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, Chuck Johnson, rest of the crew. We'll see you next week when we say, let's go racing from the Phoenix International Raceway. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.
series powered by iRacing.com has officially begun.